Welcome to Sports Scope, the most influential sports talk show in the nation.
What is today, the 19th?
Stay tuned for updates and great sports content.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Sports Scope. I'm your host, Robert Butler, on this Friday the 13th. Ooh. Here on Sports Scope, I got Carlos Mad New Yorker Chavez. Looks like he's all set up and ready to go backstage. Got a great show planned for you tonight. We're going to go over the 5 biggest games in both college and the professional leagues. We'll recap last week. And we'll talk about Russell Wilson. Terrible game last night. Another 2-interception night for him and more. But first, let's go ahead and get our first and only break out of the way. And we'll hit the ground running here on Sports Scope. Hello, Sports Scope followers. The program has seen tremendous growth since going 5 days a week. I just wanted to thank everybody for your cash contributions and sharing the program with friends and families. Just a reminder, if you want to contribute to the program, go to the Cash App, the cash sign, and Sports Scope. There are other ways to contribute to the program listed at the bottom of the screen. If you want to advertise on the program, go to sports, that is sports with an S, another S, scope, SKOPE, at gmail.com, just like it's listed at the bottom of the screen. Thank you and enjoy the program. All righty then, I'm back here live and I'll bring in Carlos Mad New Yorker Chavez. I was trying to watch yours and Are You Serious with Keith Engel. I noticed you had some problems. So, man, I had my tablet here. I had the phone. You could have called me on the speaker. I was going to set it up that way. So I'm glad that you got your connection squared away, brother. How you doing tonight, man?
Yeah, man, I didn't get the ring at the right time. So I'm doing all right. Happy Friday, people.
Friday the 13th, man. Y'all going in the haunted houses up there.
Every house is haunted in New York, man. Everybody got rats and spiders and squirrels and raccoons all around.
Ain't that the truth, brother? Ain't that the truth? You know, let's just touch on last night's game. Not to go too much into it. What's your thoughts on, Russell Wilson's contract doesn't kick in the next year? Do you think they're having second thoughts about this crazy contract that he's got coming up with Denver?
I think it's a compatibility issue where Peyton wants to do things and Russell Wilson ain't the type of quarterback that he wants to do things with. You can tell by the way it takes some time to get the flow going in the game. It takes him about third quarter to get to get in the game. I don't think it's a Russell Wilson problem, to be honest with you. It's just Peyton's an offensive mind, and he's used to having tools running backs and tight ends that can do things. And right now the Broncos don't have those kind of tools. And if they're willing to let Russell Wilson go, man, and I'm a GM in New York, whether I'm on the Jets or the Giants, I pick him right up. I would have no qualms about that. Yeah, he's 33. He's come off some kind of surgery, but his stats are only he's fourth in plays right now in the top 10 quarterbacks. He's fourth and just plays.
Oh, what, QBR?
No, not QBR. And running plays and plays that he has to actually play. He's fourth, right? So. Or now he's going to drop down to 6. I'm sorry, he dropped down to 6. So that means that for every play that he's quarterbacking. So, that's a lot of plays anyway.
You mean a passing play? He's 6 in passing play.
Like actually having the ball in play.
Oh, for him being a rusher. Okay, gotcha.
Not rusher, just having the ball in his hands. He's over 100. Let's see, he's been in over 237 plays, offensive plays.
Okay.
Right. So the person who has the most is Mahomes, right?
Okay. I see.
To get the ball back because their defense
play action and all that.
Yeah, all that stuff. So, I mean, so he's being utilized. He just can't do anything with the tools that he has on his team. Like I would say maybe 4 catches that were dropped yesterday by his wide receivers and the tight end, right? About 4. He's had 2 interceptions, but there's guys out there who are ranked in the top 10 who have more who give up interceptions too. So
you don't think this is a big deal?
I don't think it's a big.
Figure it out eventually.
They're not going to figure it out. They don't want him on the team. I think they don't want him on the team because they feel like they overpaid him, and in the last 2 seasons they don't feel like they're going to get what his value is. But again, in the last 2 seasons they haven't been a top team, right? So they don't have a defense. Again, their defense yesterday played wonderful. They played a great game.
Well, they play okay. I mean, I thought they were going to get that spread.
How many points? How many points did the Kansas City
19.
How many did they average a game?
Yeah,
27.
Well, they haven't had a great year. There's also another story about that Kansas City's having offensive problems. They're not really a juggernaut yet for Kansas City standards. I said that may be a problem. With Kels getting older, he's been hurt. He was questionable coming in.
Yeah, you did mention that. Yep.
Yeah, and there's no chemistry yet with Sky Moore nor this Rice guy or Valdez Scandalin, who's been there 2 years. I don't know what it is about Scandalin. That he couldn't get the trust of Rodgers nor Aaron Rodgers, but Russell Wilson, I think they'll probably, and I may go a deeper dive into this on Monday, folks, but I got a sense that they're going to try to work out a buyout with him.
I will dump Daniel Jones in 2 seconds for Russell Wilson, bro. I wouldn't even debate or think about or even ask a question as a GM to the owner. I'd be like, yo, get him out. Because if the Jets wanted to, they're talking about bringing in, different type of quarterback. I've said that 2 years ago. Remember, I said,
yeah, you did.
That should be in New York. It should be Russell Wilson
instead of Denver.
Right. I said that, right? And everybody's like, he's coming to New York. I'm like, it don't. The money is not an issue. It should never be an issue, right? Now New York doesn't even have a balanced O-line to protect him. So, I mean.
Yeah, you know what? And he's out again. I mean, the Giants are just a complete mess right now.
I told you this.
Yeah.
I keep telling you guys, and
I said they wouldn't go to the playoffs, so it wasn't.
I told you.
Now I don't know how many games they're going to win.
I told you as soon as they brought in those guys from Buffalo, I said that's the worst move that New York has ever made. And then the second worst move is not getting rid of Barkley and Daniel Jones. So
I was with you there. We talked about that.
Everybody thinks they're crazy, but come on, man. Sometimes things look better than what they are.
Those are magic tricks last year.
And last year, what I said, the Giants should have been 6 and whatever, right? 6.
They got a lot of lucky wins, and I think the ball nor that Sheehan guy. I think that their hands were tied, and that ownership wanted to push Jones and Barkley on them, and now they're paying for it. Now they're paying for it. Now Denver's paying for it.
They pay for it in so many ways. So, I mean. If you had to rate Daniel Jones, Zach Wilson, and Russell Wilson, how would you rate them? Right?
Yeah, that is a good point there. Right? I mean, I don't know how I would rate them. Possibly, I would probably still put Wilson ahead because he's a smarter quarterback. He's got more fluidity and experience, but he has lost a step. He's not as quick as he used to be, man.
No,
he's only 5'11", by the way.
That's a problem. That was going to say.
Zach Wilson would be ranked last to answer your question because I do think Daniel Jones can still run consistently.
Yeah, and he's not. And if he keeps getting banged up beside the head, he ain't going to run anywhere.
No, and Zach Wilson's dead. But I mean, they got a shot. They got a real shot to beat. But Philadelphia, the injuries are mounting. Jalen Carter's not going to play. Darius Slay's not going to play. I still think Philly will probably beat them though.
Would you? If you're a GM and you have Russell Wilson or Kirk Cousins to pick up, who would you pick up?
Wow. Yeah, boy, that is. I would probably take the more experienced Wilson over Cousins. Is not a big game. At least Wilson's got some big game experience. The Wilson is not fitting in with Sean Payton's culture. You're right about that. Yeah, at some point you got to think, well, maybe it's Wilson. Maybe Wilson owes Pete Carroll an apology. Pete Carroll had the right offense He had the right amount of defense around him, and maybe Wilson wasn't that good to the get-go. Maybe he is a guy that you want to run the ball a lot around him, and he's just a play-action quarterback. He's not Drew Brees.
Okay, so here's the thing, right? Everybody always
says not Aaron Rodgers.
Even Mark Rippon went to the Super Bowl and won the Super Bowl with the Redskins.
But 1991, 92.
Yeah, and when he left, what happened? When he went to another team, was he a Super Bowl winning quarterback?
Yeah, that's a different era when you could run the ball and play defense more.
Same thing. Joe Flacco did the same thing. Baltimore, he was like a Super Bowl winning.
Oh, Denver. Yeah. Oh, that was the ultimate example of that with Trent Dilfer.
Yeah, Trent Dilfer. Like, so.
But I don't think we could do that in this era. You have to have a little bit more play out of the QB.
I don't believe that's true because there's a lot of QBs there that are not that great and they're making it.
Right? I'm talking about winning the Super Bowl. When's the last QB that you thought was pretty mediocre to win the Super Bowl?
Joe Flacco?
Brad Johnson, maybe?
Joe Flacco?
Well, yeah, Flacco's that's a little bit more recent. That's 2012. That's a good one. That's 13 years ago. But that's a pretty good one, actually. Yeah, that's
Eli Manning? Eli Manning got lucky.
Now, Flacco and Manning, those guys were bigger game players than Kirk Cousins.
So you're talking about clutch ability. You're talking about being clutch.
Yeah, big throw ability.
Russell Wilson's clutch.
Yeah, Wilson's more clutch. That's why I would probably still take Wilson. He's just not worth $55 million a year.
Is Daniel Jones worth what he's getting paid?
I said it back in March. You're preaching to the choir, man.
I'm just saying, if there's two guys,
they should have said, okay, we talked about this a year ago. Daniel Jones, go out and get somebody else to pay you $45 million. We'll see if we can match it.
That's where the Giants made a mistake, and nobody would have picked them up.
You know, they would have got a compensatory pick if somebody else would have done that.
That would have been nice.
Pickles is going way back to Pickles. You're going back to '86 when you can knock the crap out of receivers going across the middle.
Yeah,
you have to have a little bit better quarterback play now than you did 25 years ago.
This is a time also Joe Theismann got his leg knocked out of him by Lawrence Taylor.
Yeah,
the quarterbacks didn't have no protection.
They're protected like nobody's business now.
So I mean, but that
Yeah, Jason Whitlock, he was talking about this with Warren Sapp the other day, and he made a good point. How many of these quarterbacks are worth that big money? Mahomes? Allen? Herbert? Burrow? I mean, not even 10, dude. Probably 5 at the most.
If Allen was so good, what do you think how would you think he'd be on another team like the Chargers or even the Jets? How do you think he would perform? You would think he'd take? Do you think he'd take them to a?
He would be the same with the Jets. I don't know, man. No, I don't know.
And it's hard to say, right? Until they leave there.
How would he be with an offensive-minded head coach? How would he be with Sean McVay? He'd be setting the world on fire, I think. But the truth of the matter is, most of these guys are not worth that kind of money. These managers and executives, they've got to make a stand and say, listen, you're not that guy. You're not. Let somebody else pay you that money. You know, we'll build the team around the quarterback. Whitlock was talking about Jared Goff.
I was about to mention his name. He's pretty mediocre.
But he's got the team around him, though.
He's got a lot of tools. Not only does he have the offensive skilled players around him, St. Brown. He got a decent running back. He's got
a lot of big name offense. Taylor Decker's a very good left tackle.
Yep.
Thanks, Sewell.
Now on top of that,
St. Brown, yeah.
On top of that, he got a defense that gives him an opportunity scoring the right.
He's got a major pass rusher, Hutchinson.
Yeah. So, I mean, whatever. Let's move on to the.
I know it's frustrating, man, because it's a lot of bad football. I mean, who's going to watch that Buffalo Giants game?
It's Sunday night, bro.
I mean, it's just. Well, I mean, that's easy. I mean, geez. Okay. So last week, now you're up 4-0 now. You're having a good. Every dog has his month, huh?
Look, so in 3 fantasies, I'm at 3-1. Wait, I'm at 4-1. 3-2, or 3 3-3, whatever. And then the other one I'm undefeated.
Okay. Oh, your fantasy league?
Yeah, man.
Okay.
I'm doing okay, but I'm not a gambling man, so I keep myself.
Yeah. All right, Chief. Let's see. What's your thoughts about Jags Bills? Jags get up the win there. I should have took the Jags there. I'd have called a game on you. I just said the Jags and the points, but Jags got the outright win in London last week, man.
Yeah, man. They got this guy falling asleep over there when he's supposed to be reading his playbook.
That's what I heard. Yeah, looked like they was sleepwalking. Jags been there. We talked about that. They've been there for a long time. They go there more than anybody in the league.
Robert, again, this is where your public relations should gear you to the right place. If you're tired or whatever, don't say nothing. Just do your thing. Try to get rested, right? Why would you say things like, "Oh, I'm not used to this, and I haven't never been, past the Atlantic Ocean, and I don't know." Come on, man. Just don't say nothing.
That's true. Sometimes you got to know when to hold them. And that's you're right, Chad. Cousins got the first guarantee contract, I think $90 million before Deshaun Watson. It's a good point, Chad Collins there. Yeah, I think Jacksonville does match up well. The injuries are starting to mount again for Buffalo. It's catching up with them. I think they'll probably rebound against the Giants, but it seems like things are coming together at the right time for Jacksonville. They got their left tackle back, and they're coming back home. Got a good game here against the Colts in Jacksonville. They're getting some stability.
Jacksonville needs to get this stuff together, though. They have an issue in the running game where in Tanae, I always pronounce his name wrong. He's like
Travis Etienne.
Travis Etienne. He has good games and then he has bad games. He just needs to have consistency. I would like to see him be like, Chubb. Just go in there, get your 4.5 yards. Whether you got a touchdown or two, fine, whatever. Just go in there because he has that potential. But then again, they try to spread the ball so much that they forget about the running game. But then also when he gets the ball, he's kind of like he has his days where he's like, I'll just get my 2 or 3 yards. Like, come on, man. Like, we see what you can do when you get past the first line. Like, let's go.
Yeah, I like Etienne. I had this is another thing I had a problem with. Almost every team is doing this now, except for maybe the Titans. Giving him the quarterback out the shotgun. He can't get any momentum. What is with these offensive coordinators? Put the quarterback under center sometimes. Let your running back get some kind of momentum before he goes up and goes. Does everything have to look like college football?
Yeah, I don't get it. And look, and your fullback cannot be smaller than your running back. I don't understand that.
Yeah, I know. That's another thing. That true.
Hurts me so when I see the Rams, and I'm just like, how is your fullback look smaller than your running back and your quarterback? How much sense does that make?
Remember, Kansas City had a really, I think his name was Richardson or something back in the day.
Tony Richardson.
That's it. Yeah. He was a really small fullback, man. He was good though, but he was smaller than the running back at times.
Yeah, but the thing was that he was small, like framed, but he was tall. So that was, but still, again,
he was a kind of a smaller fullback. There's usually not that many fullbacks now, but
you remember Lorenzo? You need a guy like Lorenzo O'Neal, like
he was the fullback of fullbacks,
like Tom Rathman. Man. Like you need like some big dudes in there, like make a hole for your running back, man.
Titans are still dreading letting Lorenzo O'Neal go to the Chargers. Okay, what's your thoughts about the Rams and the Eagles?
Whoa.
You good call. Eagles got the win. They kind of sucked the life out of the game with those long drives and that offensive line just dominating the Rams.
Yeah, they were gonna run that ball and run that clock out, and I'm surprised that they didn't try a few more balls in the air after the second half. They have a problem. They don't know who they want to score, so it's just better if they just run the ball anyways. Because Devontae Smith, he needs to get some catches. Brown is good, but you can't neglect, some of those players that you have on your team, man. And they have Gainwell that has, he wants the ball, but they give the ball to Swift.
Well, they did get Goddard involved more. I like that.
Yeah,
that's
so,
tight end.
Yeah, Goddard. Yep.
Dallas Goddard. Yeah.
Yep, they got him involved, but that's what happens when you got too many Chiefs in the kitchen, man. You got
that game. They dominated the defensive line of LA so much, particularly in the second half. It reminded me of the 49ers running all over the Green Bay Packers a few years ago in the NFC Championship game and the regular season game back in 2019, where they're just running and Rodgers is looking like
a superstar.
He's like, when am I going to get to play, man? And they're just like running. Mostert and everything. They had over 200 yards. And remember, Garoppolo only had like 3 pass attempts. But those are pretty boring games to watch. But if you're a fan of the other team, you love to just take control of the game like that. If it's your team running like that, like Tennessee Titans back in 99 and 2000.
Kind of like the 49ers ran through the Cowboys.
Yes. Yeah, and that's the next game. That's the only one I did get right. I thought 49ers would win. Didn't think they'd play that well. What's your thoughts about that, man? Kittle had a big game.
Kittle, great game. Kittle, who didn't have 100 yards and got smacked up a little bit, but nobody talks about it. They still say he had a good game is McCaffrey. McCaffrey got hit. Yeah. Every time he got the ball, he got hit. And I just wish that Dallas would have went over and tried to hit Purdy like that. It would have changed the game a lot.
They could get to him. Oh, by the way, he got 14. He has tied Emmitt Smith most consecutive games with a touchdown, 14. And then he's switching jerseys. What do you think about that? You get beat 30 by 32 points, and your best defensive player wants the running back's jersey, and you switch it with him. Who was the guy? God. Michael Parsons and Christian McCaffrey switching jerseys. What do you think about that?
Look, there's something that they do on the soccer pitch in a football.
So that's a youth thing,
And I tell you what, I think it's okay. It changes the perspective on gamemanship, right? Like
gamesmanship,
yeah. Because at the end of the day, there's not that much anymore like they used to be. Everybody used to get in line, everybody high five everybody. So this whole switching jerseys is something different. I'm okay with it. Because at the end of the day, everybody talks about the NFL being a brotherhood, like the players, we were brotherhood, and that. And it's like, so that goes a little bit on that end, and that's good. It's terrible though if you're if you're Miami and you just late and you just thump on the Broncos. But to each.
I mean, the way you say it, that is a good point. I mean, it's after the gridiron's over with. If you want to switch jerseys, but me, I'm still ticked off. I mean, I'm too fresh, man.
When you get thumped 20 points plus,
there's no way I'm going asking you for your jersey.
I think it's easier to be like, you know what? Get this mother sucker shirt off me. You can have it because this game stunk.
Yeah.
Right. I would do that, like, just to get it. Because if you don't got the jersey, you don't got nothing to remind you of that game, then you can get over it. So I think that's also something that will help you mentally and physically get over something.
The record is 17 touchdowns for you fantasy players. Kyle Shanahan's going to try to get those. It's going to be tough against Cleveland, but Cleveland's got Deshaun Watson's not going to play. The 17 touchdowns with the games with the touchdown, I think they're going to try to get that record for McCaffrey if he doesn't get hurt in the Cleveland game, which they got a really good defensive line.
Yeah, I mean, the only negative right now for San Francisco is that they have to make sure nobody gets injured or nobody gets hurt. Or keep their main roster playing. That's like the only negative. And I say that because
not peaking too soon like the Braves did in baseball.
Yeah, man. Like this is only game 6 coming up, right?
Yeah. You got 11 games to go. It's going to be curious the way Cal Shanahan plays that particular game. They're the top of my heap right now as far as Power 5. But hey, I'm just grading on what I'm seeing.
But Robert, I know this isn't NBA basketball or college basketball, but if you have a little bit of depth, let the other guys play and get experience.
Man. That's what I said. That's what I said on Monday's show.
You know, like
who's that other running back? Trey Sermon?
He plays so much you don't even know his name. How about that?
Yeah. I would get that other running, and that's probably what Cal Shanahan is thinking, man, because they do get banged up a lot. His team does
all the time, and when they get banged up,
because they're very physical.
Yeah, when they get banged up, these guys sometimes the performance isn't to the top of the heap, and 49ers kind of miss out on being the
Elijah Mitchell, and he's questionable.
Oh, Jesus.
They got a bunch of guys I never heard of. Jordan Madison, Tyron Davis Pierce. I mean, I think they'll be okay. Cal Juszczyk's still healthy. That he's a big blocker. But kudos to Purdy. I think he's playing pretty well. He's outplayed Dak. I think he's a legit starter. And, the sky's the limit for the guy. I don't think he's going to be all world, but I think
if you put Purdy on the Patriots, is he going to be your MVP?
His numbers went way up. I'll tell you what, if they go like 15-2, and he's got like this 110 quarterback rating, he could get MVP, man. He could get it. And Pickles thinks they could be down. I don't know. I bet PJ Walker was with Cleveland. I'm not sure about that. I think 49ers will still play pretty good come Sunday. Even though I didn't put that in our game.
We looked at the schedule, right? We saw that they had opportunity to come out and maybe win. We're strong. Remember that? We went through that, right?
With Cleveland?
Yeah. No, with the San Francisco. We went through the schedule and we
Yeah. I think they're gonna be okay because the division's down.
Yeah.
The Rams don't have any depth. Mm-mm. Arizona is tanking, and Seattle's got Geno Smith, and you don't know what Geno Smith you're gonna get sometimes. Will the real Geno Smith please stand up?
Yep.
There's the one that didn't look too good against Kansas City last year in December.
We want last year's Geno Smith to stand up, not the guy who got knocked in the face in the Jets locker room.
Yeah. Okay, college games last week. What's your thoughts? Hey, you was right about Alabama. I didn't think that was going to happen. Alabama beats Texas A&M. Is Alabama a legit contender now?
Not yet. Their team is like a little bit skittish.
Yeah, I think so too.
They don't have a lot of depth.
They're getting a little better every week, but not a lot better.
But you know what? I like that those top 5 players coming out of high school, that they're acting like it. Like they're progressing, and that's important. But the only problem is now that you got Georgia ahead of you. Georgia is like the school everybody wants to go to. So, when you try to build depth and want to, get better, it's going to be hard because you got to compete to get these prospects. Now, if you're Saban, you start headhunting and start fishing for some NIL, so to get some players on the back end, on the the transfer portal, right?
Transfer portal, yeah.
And start fishing.
That's what he's got to do. He's got to start getting these quarterback. He's still getting the top class though in the regular recruiting, which is killing me. I still think they're going to get better though.
He's in the top 3 now.
They still got room to grow this year.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be headhunting. I'll be like, I'd go to the Pac-12 because right now they got so many cats that are behind some of the better quarterbacks. They're not going to see any field time anytime soon. And some of these guys, even Caleb Williams, talking about staying one more year. So I'd go to USC.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I'd go to USC.
He's got 3 national commercials, so
yeah, I'd go to USC and be like, "Yo."
He might not want to go play for Arizona. He might hang around USC one more year.
Right. So you would go headhunt their bench that they got over there because they always got good quarterbacks coming out of California, right? like a hotbed for QBs, especially guys with long hair and beautiful eyes.
You know, I'll say this: if Alabama had to play Georgia this weekend, I would give Georgia a slight edge. But if Alabama plays Georgia, say in December, I don't know. I think Alabama's got room to grow with this Moreau kid. He's getting a little. His mistakes. He's lessening his mistakes. He's not making throws or attempting throws that he don't think he can make. If that makes any sense. That was a huge comeback win over A&M on the road like that.
Yeah. Well, how about this, Robert? When I mentioned this morning with Keith, I was on the chat because I
saw you.
Yeah. If Georgia plays Oregon, who wins?
Oh, wow. Man, at a neutral site, I might take Oregon this time around.
Ooh, okay, you sound like Keith. Okay, so but if Georgia was in
Georgia's lost a lot of their players to the NFL, man.
Yeah, if Georgia was in the Pac-12, what would be their ranking?
Man, that's too hard to really. They would be in the middle of it. It's hard to tell because you don't know who they've played already, you know. But Georgia's good, but they've lost a lot of players, you know.
Because right now the Pac-12 is the best division, best conference, and
they've got the most ranked teams, and the quarterback play is elite. In the Pac-12, okay, man, I did not see this. Like I was told Keith on Wednesday, who had Oklahoma? Rainbow did you watch Casino with Robert De Niro?
Yeah, but listen, I said this before, but not here. Whoever won that game between Oklahoma and Texas, right?
Yeah.
The opposite team would win with conference. So Texas would probably going to win the conference.
Well, that I was going to say you made a good point. And quite frankly, I'll look back at Texas stats. Other than the turnovers, they had better time of possession. They had more passing yards, pretty close on rushing yards there. It looks like sometimes Texas has a tendency, Quinn Ewers, to press a little bit and don't want to take anything from Oklahoma. They were a step faster than Texas. When they went up 10 in the third quarter, I said, this is Oklahoma's game, man. This is their game. They're just a little bit more prepared than Texas is. But Texas seems like the more talented team.
They need to press the gas, man. If you're up, you need to press the gas pedal, man.
And you're probably right. Texas will probably beat them in the Big 12 championship, and there's a good chance they're going to play again come, I don't know, when's it, December? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that one I'll have to really study, but you made a good point, and I did want to give you a heads up for that.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I think so as well. Boy, I was way off about Kentucky. They can't play two big games in a row. They don't have the depth. Even though we didn't pick that, we did discuss it.
Right. Well, we stay away. Look, we discussed it, but we stayed away with
51-14. I thought, man, I don't know, man. That was one not to go with. Okay, so this week, let's talk about Tennessee and Baltimore, man. What's your thoughts about Tennessee? They're going to London late, by the way. They're going to go like tonight and then just go out there and do it. But last time they did that, they played pretty well. They almost beat a heavily favored Charger team.
I think that they have a good opportunity to do well in London. The field there is grass. The people are nice. As far as wanting to be like celebratory and liking football. So big ups to Tottenham Hotspurs and the stadium there and even the fans. Look, there's a lot of fans in England, people, and London is just a little piece of that. And like people they only associate England and London because it's like talking about New York and New York City. Buffalo don't exist to us because New York City's so big, but it's not the case, man. And to be honest with you, it's sad that Buffalo is the only team that actually plays in New York. Anyways, going back to Tennessee and Baltimore, I feel like games like this, Henry steps up to.
Mm-hmm.
He should do well. just give him the ball. Stop messing around. Give him the ball until his legs fall off. Like I don't understand.
Well,
I don't understand the game plan for Tennessee, man.
It's one of those things that I think that the reason why they lost last week was they had Sonorsky back, and they brought back this Petit Farik guy. I think Sonorsky's weight wasn't quite where it was supposed to be, and I think he was still feeling the effects from that ruptured, because they didn't run at all. They can normally run some on the Colts. They couldn't do nothing against the Colts. That was one of the most frustrating losses I've ever seen Tennessee have. Because they should have beat that team by 10 points with a rookie quarterback. Then you had a backup.
One thing that people forget about the Colts is that their kicker is doing extremely great things over there. And that kicking game keeps them in games, keeps them.
The Colts kicker?
Yeah. Look, let me tell you something. If you're a quarterback that's struggling, or you lost your quarterback, you're a backup, and you're looking around, and you just got your number one running back, so he's not ready yet. You got a kicker, a punter, or even a kicker that could change the game. That leaves a little bit, man. That puts a little less on your shoulders, man, because you're like, they're gonna set you up for success, and you don't have to think about that, right? So you just have to think about either getting to the goal line, like closer to the goal line, or you got to think about, making sure that you don't mess up the punter's flow, right? Where you want to know who your punter is, where he's going to kick, right? Depending on what you got. And the Colts got a great field goal kicker, a decent punter, but the field goal kicker, how he kicking these goals after 50 yards plus, like it's nothing.
Yeah.
Like it's nothing, bro. Like,
and something, Zach Moss is having a really good season at running back, and they've got a good push on their offensive line.
The running back
Quentin Nelson kid.
Taylor's coming back.
Yeah, Taylor. So they're going to be a good 1-2 punch down. For what they've got going, they're still decent on the inside. That goes to show you, if you got good offensive line, good defensive line play, you can go places. You don't have to have superstars at the skill position, not even really at the quarterback position. Quentin Nelson is one of the best blocking guards in the league, and he showed it against the Titans, who had Tier Tart go out, and Jeffrey Simmons. Simmons will be back. Tart is questionable. That's their big nose tackle on defense. Right. This has been a hard game for me to call for Tennessee but that being said, hey, man, Pittsburgh really got after Lamar Jackson last week. 1 interception, 4 sacks. He tried to play quarterback. He tried to do the step back. And if he does that with Tennessee, even with Tennessee's bad secondary, I think they'll be able to get to Lamar Jackson and force him into some bad throws.
How about this? This Tennessee game with Baltimore is going to be almost like watching the Chiefs play the Broncos this past Thursday. It's going to be low scoring.
Yeah, it probably, neither team will probably make more than 20, I don't think.
What's the spread on that?
Tennessee's a 4-point underdog.
Are you picking this game?
Yeah. I think Tennessee will probably win it, man. I think they got humiliated pretty bad. Pittsburgh's a very physical team. You play Pittsburgh, you're going to remember it the next week. But that being said, Cleveland played Pittsburgh, and they blew out Tennessee the very next week. So I got a sense that Tennessee's going to beat them. But, Lamar Jackson has got the ability to make big plays with his legs. And players can that Zay Jones, I could see him running away from Tennessee secondary and Tennessee getting beat. I could see it going either way.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I got Tennessee 24-21.
Yeah, and that's I'll take 23-21 Tennessee. Be a very close game.
I just feel like Jackson, Lamar Jackson. He's like, sometimes he give up games on this, and sometimes not him. Sometimes there's a fumble by the running back. Sometimes there's something happens, and you're like, Baltimore just can't.
I think he's going to get cute in this game. They should really, be honest with you. Here, I hope the Ravens coaching staff's not listening. Go back to your old game plan where he's running most of the time, and you got Tennessee's kind of paused and throwing up the field. If you do that, they'll probably beat Tennessee. But if he tries to play quarterback like I think he will in this new offense where he's going to go back to his reads, I think Tennessee will be able to get to him. And he telegraphs a lot of his plays. Yeah, Zay Flowers or Zay Jones, I think his name is Flowers.
Zay Flowers, he's on my
that guy's. He'll probably get some pretty good plays there, but I don't think he'll. I just got a sense Tennessee's going to win this game. I think that they know they gave that other game away, and I think another week with Sonorski back, they're going to get that push for Henry. And Henry will get more screen passes in the open field. Could be Baltimore don't quite have the pass rush they used to.
No, they don't.
Yeah, they spend a lot of money on offense. Odell Beckham's got $15 million. Flowers, that Zay Flowers guy, he was a first-round pick. Beckham was a first-round pick. But Baltimore is favored, so we shall see Awuku Saki. All right, Seattle and Cincinnati.
I like this game.
I think this is a good game. Something, I never believe what they say on the injury reports nowadays. But, I'll say this, man. Joe Burrow, they said he was off the injury report last Thursday completely. He comes back, plays, has a great game against Arizona. 108 QBR rating. They win the game at Arizona. A little bit more healthy this week. They're playing Seattle at home. Seattle is coming off a bye week, but it is an early start time. I like Cincinnati to win this game and cover. It's only 2.5 point spread. Who do you like, Seattle at Cincinnati?
I like the young defense of Seattle getting at Burrow.
Okay.
And smacking.
I figured you would say that. Here's where I can maybe make up some ground on you.
Say what? Say what? You're going to feel bad when Burrow come out. I told you they shouldn't have paid that man. I told you.
Who could it be now?
Calling him Joe Montana, son, that's sacrilegious.
Well, I do like I like Cincinnati at the early start time. That being said, maybe Metcalf can come in there and have a pretty good game. I do like that running back for Seattle. He's coming off a bye week, but you're talking Geno Smith, and I like the defensive play last week of Cincinnati. So we'll see what happens, man.
Yeah, I don't trust in Cincinnati's O-line. T. Higgins hasn't been doing very well.
Yeah, now he's been hurt. They don't know if he's going to play, but he didn't play last week, and they won comfortably.
They have the only one that that's been doing well is number one guy. But if you could shut him down,
Jamar Chase, yeah.
You got that running back that's having an okay year. Like Mixon, I don't know. He should have just retired. If he said that he's going to do it, he should have just did it. But
yeah.
I feel like all the firepower the Bengals think they have is like having a loaded weapon with no trigger. So
well, I mean, you can make a point that young cornerback will be on Jamar Chase, the cornerback that got the pick 6 there. I think his name Witherspoon or whatever, or Seattle against the Giants a few weeks ago. You can make that case that their corners are better. But Burrow will find another player. He is a little Jamar Chase dependent, but he's also accurate enough. He can find other players to chop this team down. I just think the defense will hold Cincinnati in the game long enough, and they're going to win in 2017, something like that.
Yeah, I think that Seattle defense is going to
that Seattle could go down there and beat them. They could.
They'll let Chase and Burrow play the game, but even if, let's say Chase has 2 touchdowns, right?
Yeah.
And Burrow has 2 interceptions and a fumble. That's it. That's game over, Scoob. The 2 touchdowns don't mean nothing.
Yeah. But he's got a really good line, and they don't have that great.
Who's got a good line?
Oh, Burrow's got a good line this year. Orlando Brown's doing good, man.
That's one guy, bro.
And they moved their other guy to right tackle.
Got 2 thumpers in the D line. They got a linebacker that's young, that's fast, and is a heavy hitter. They got some players in that.
We'll see come Sunday, man.
All you got to do is scheme them up very well. We'll see.
We'll see come Sunday at 1 o'clock Eastern. Okay, what about the Chargers in Dallas now?
Wait, what's the score? What's the score for that?
I'd say 20-21-17 Cincinnati. I got Cincinnati winning that game.
I got that same score with Seattle winning that game.
Okay, you got Seattle. Okay. All right. Who had Oklahoma? Nobody had Oklahoma. No, I'm just kidding. Heath Angle had Oklahoma. Okay. Dallas and the Chargers. Now, Chargers, I have your guy back at running back, but they might not have Joey Bosa back. They got Eckler back, but not Joey Bosa.
So they're going to pick up some offense and lose on the defense.
And they're coming off a bye week too, but remember, you got Brandon Staley. You got Brandon Staley there. See, Chad says, Carlos got me taking Seattle. We shall see, Iwuku Saki.
You don't like my pick, man. I shouldn't have picked him last week, but I'm going to pick him again.
You going to pick Dallas?
I'm going to pick Dallas.
And yeah, well, I mean, dang, I was hoping you'd go with the Chargers. It's okay, man. I like Dallas, too. I mean, Dallas beat them 2 years ago in L.A. It's going to be another home game for Dallas. There's going to be a lot of Dallas fans there.
What I like.
And they got embarrassed last week. They're going to play hard this week.
Yeah, man. And you can't keep Micah Parsons quiet 2 games in a row.
No, you can't keep him quiet.
And I like that Curse. He got a little nasty. And I think he's going to come back and play a better game. And you know what? That defensive coordinator wants a job, so he gonna do the best he can to make sure that he don't get outplayed. So
that's true. That's true. So, and you know something? You got Keelan Moore on the other side there.
You know he knows him.
I think he's going to press to score and show out. Keelan Moore is, and I think Dallas defense is going to show up next week, man, or this Sunday. All right, that might be Monday. I can't remember.
I like Dallas to win this. I think it's going to go overtime. Watch this. I think it's going to be 24-24 overtime, and then Dallas will score the field goal. Will be 27-24.
Yeah, Bosa set out. They don't know if Bosa's going to play or not.
You like that?
27-20 Dallas.
You don't think they'll tie?
No. Well, they might. And then Dallas gets one. And then again, it may be 27.
It ain't going to go.
It may be 24-21 Dallas. It'll be close to what it was a couple years ago.
Yeah, man.
Dallas is going to run the ball. They're going to keep the ball out of Dak's hand. Corey Lindsey's out. There's some players out. The Chargers will have, like I said, they'll have their running back there, Eckler. But hey, Dallas can shut that down, man. I don't know about shutting it down, but I think they'll keep him in check. They kept him in check last time they played.
You know what? Stanley's going to make
Eagles says they sober up and win by 17. I think Dallas plays well too, man. I
think Stanley will mess up and have Eckler come in from the back.
He'll find a way to screw the whole thing up. Yeah,
he'll have him, instead of running the ball, he'll have Eckler come out and try to catch the ball, and they're gonna hit Eckler. They're gonna give him a
fumble
or interception. And then people are going to be like, why didn't you just run the ball with Eckler? Why you have him running? Right? That's just something Staley would do. Right?
That's the same. It's the same game with Staley, man. Okay, so those are the 3 NFL games, folks. Man, what about Oregon at Washington? I was back and forth on this game.
Oregon
in college.
Oregon, Washington. I had something on here, but
I'm top 10 teams there, Chief.
I'm gonna stay with my black horse in Washington. I think they're gonna end up being
dark horse there. Yeah,
my dark horse. You know why I say black horse? And for you guys that don't know, back at school when we used to go in Austin P, there was a nice little place to go get some beer cheese and chips, spinach dip, artichoke dip.
Was that on campus?
No, it wasn't. It was close to campus, and they got some good little brews. They got this brew called the Barnstormer.
I think we went there once.
Yeah, man. We hung out.
It's off Madison.
Yeah, no, on the Main Street.
Main Street. Yeah.
Yeah, the Black Horse Brewery. Y'all ever get a chance to go to Clarkston, Tennessee? Y'all hit them up.
Yeah, we went there. I went there with Trace too. Yeah, sure did. Sure did. Yeah, weather's not going to be an issue. I really like what Washington's doing. Washington, number one offense in the country. You know, they remind me a lot of Tennessee last year. They were just too tough to beat at home, man. They were just Oregon. They beat Oregon last year up in Oregon, but Oregon, Joe Klatt said they're the much more balanced team. They're a better rushing team.
Right.
They are, and Bo Nix has got the experience. But I do like Penix as well. I think Washington's just not going to let them beat them up in Seattle. I think Washington wins probably 37-31, maybe. 37-31 Washington. Going to be a wild game, though.
No defense.
Loud. Huh?
No defense, just straight out.
Yeah, no. I mean, well, it could be worse, you know. Could be in the 40s.
Man, I want this to be a lower scoring game, but I think you're right. I think it's going to go
Pickle says maybe Ducks by 10. The only way Ducks win if they get some turnovers and they get that running game going, they could win. It's only a 2.5 point spread in favor of Washington.
Who's more likely to score 5 touchdowns, Washington or Oregon?
I don't know. I've read that Washington's got 3 first-round receivers.
Yeah, I think Washington.
If this was in Oregon, I'd pick Oregon. That's how close this will be, man.
So what is that? 5.
But Oregon can win in Washington. They won in Washington before, huh?
27, maybe 27, maybe 35-27.
Is that what you like, Washington too?
Yeah, I like Washington by a touchdown. Maybe.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one, man. Okay. This one's interesting, man. You know something? Notre Dame.
Oh God.
USC. USC's gotten very close here. They've been pushing the envelope. Notre Dame loses to Louisville last week. They've been on a little bit of a rough road trip. They had to play Duke after playing Ohio State.
Do you believe in Hartman?
Hartman is just stock is down. Now, he may come back up because he's playing a bad defense in USC. Weather's not going to be the issue that we thought it was going to be. The wind will be about 15 miles an hour, but the rain is supposed to go away. I actually think USC is going to find a way to beat them at the very end. I think that coach is kind of like a Brandon Staley. He's kind of a young guy, man. Freeman for Notre Dame. Now, Notre Dame's favored. They can line up and run the ball the whole time. Maybe they do that. But I think Lincoln Riley's going to find a way to outcoach Freeman, and I think USC is going to win.
Is their defense stout enough to keep Caleb Williams from being Caleb Williams?
Not really. I have little to no faith in what USC's defense.
No, Notre Dame's defense.
Yeah. I don't. Notre Dame defense is better than USC, but USC put some points on them last year. You know, they beat them by 11 at Southern Cal, but weather's going to be somewhat of an issue. I don't think it's going to be that big of an issue.
I also said that this morning. I think they'll probably tie, and then USC will win in overtime.
It'll probably be something. So you like USC too?
Yeah, I think it's going to be.
But we only disagree on the Cincinnati and Seattle game.
Yeah, I think it's going to be 24-24 overtime, go to overtime, and then 27-24.
Oh, no. Well, I think it'll probably be 34-30.
You go so high because
34-30. Well, USC is going to give up some points.
Yeah,
they gave up 40 to Colorado. They're going to give up some points here. I think they beat them 38-27 last year.
I just think because the teams are different, and when they play Colorado, the two teams are different, right?
Yeah, they are. They're both going to try to run. I know Notre Dame's going to try to run the whole time.
Which is why I don't believe they'll score that many more points, because I think they'll be eating up clock more than they'll be scoring. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that's what I'm thinking. And that's what I've seen out of them. But to each his own. You might be right. It might just be 33, 30, 33,
Yeah.
27.
Yeah, 34-30 USC. You're saying USC is going to win too?
Yeah, I say that overtime they tie and then they go to overtime. And
Okay. All right, man. You got anything you need to plug? You do. Are you serious at 9 a.m. Eastern?
Yeah, we changed the time to 9. Sometimes I'm there, sometimes I'm not. Today was my first day, so I wasn't there. But I was chatting. I did find the chat a little bit. So
yeah.
I was on that. Yeah. Also, we do a pregame show for the Thursday games. Tanner and I. We'll start back in a few weeks. There's a couple issues scheduling wise. It's tough to get in before the pregame 6 o'clock.
Now, what outlet is that? What's the name of that show?
That's just a pregame show with off of with Tanner and oh my God, Sports Buffoons. So
Sports Buffoons. Now, is that on YouTube? Is that the YouTube channel?
He's on. Yeah, that's the YouTube channel. Yeah.
Okay,
that's right. I'm on there with him, and then I do an NFC East show with Alan Perez on Let's Talk Sports. So I do.
Yeah. I'm sorry to hear about Dan Dave Harris, folks. The man, I've had him here. He's passed away. Worse, I've made you be known. He had stage 4 cancer for a while. Thoughts and prayers with that family, man. I know you heard about that today from Keith. I may play a bit of our interview on Monday's show, guys. Dan Dave Harris, man. He was 30, let's see, 5. He's born in 86. I remember he telling me that. So 5 years, 42, 37. Good guy, Dan.
Yeah, and if you guys don't know about Dan, he started Let's Talk Sports.
Yeah.
On the internet, on Facebook, and he had a YouTube channel, and then he just started getting people together, started interviewing all kinds of people from all kinds of sports. He had no qualms. He didn't discriminate. He
very good guy. Yeah,
he let people talk their mind and let them express their fanship and their opinions and ideas. He got me here on the show, doing things. I used to just do stuff on the back end. You know me. I just used to write some stuff down, write ideas down, produce a little bit. But he got me out in front of the camera, even though I got a face for radio. But
that's a good stat there, Chad. 13 wins apiece.
I like that stat.
And Tennessee's won 2 of the last 3 against Baltimore. I think Lamar's only beat them once.
Well, I feel bad for Lamar because I think last week was the first time he ever played like the Steelers, right? Or only the third time he played the Steelers or something like that.
No, I mean the Steelers have played him a bunch of times.
No, I'm talking about with Jackson on the roster because he's been off the injured. Yeah, man.
Oh, that's true. That is true. He has been injured.
Yeah. Anyway,
the Steelers, if they don't, the Steelers make you injured. They're tough, man.
Big ups to Dan Harris.
Put a knot on your head,
man. So yeah, he was a good dude. He got a lot of people involved in doing things. So
yeah, and like I said, thoughts and prayers were Dan. You got a pretty busy slate like me.
Yeah, man.
3 shows now.
I jump on your show a little bit,
I appreciate it. I'm going to give you that $1 million like Pat McAfee gave Aaron Rodgers when I start making some money because you're a regular contributor. Did you hear about that?
He threw him some money. What did Rodgers say? I'll use that for my piece.
Well, Rodgers is like, yeah, sure, no problem. Even though he's making a lot, everybody's time's money. And Pat said, hey, listen, my show was worth X and now it's worth Y. And I'm giving him 500 here, 500, and he pays Nick Saban. I think the envy is because other people couldn't think of it. Nobody else could think of something like that. I don't think it's a journalism thing. It's an entertainment show, Yeah,
I mean, and everybody has a price, man. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah. And sometimes contributors get paid that are regular, not really like interviewees, but contributor people, Interviews, sometimes you're just plugging something.
Right. So, I mean, you pay me in high stake dinners and
I'll try to do that and
beer grouters.
That's not if, it's when the show hits it big, and I'll be giving you that $1 million and maybe a little bit more there, Chief, because I want to be bigger than bigger than McAfee, so it'll be 2 million, brother. 10 million.
You're bigger than you think, man. You keep your show on. You'll be all right.
Be bigger than Pete. I'm just kidding. Have a good night, everybody. Good weekend.
Happy
Enjoy
Friday.
the games. I can't wait.
It's a lot of sports, man. I'm getting tired.
Yeah, me too, man. See you, man. Thanks again, buddy.